Hello, I'm Mike and welcome to this bit of my channel where I talk about things related to the physics degree, maybe questions that I've asked myself, maybe things that some other people have asked me. And this time I want to talk about learning LaTeX, and is this something you should do for a physics degree? Now, to give you a basic idea, normally in school when you write a document you use a word processor, right? You know, put the heading in here, put the pictures in, put the writing in, that sort of thing. You know how a word processor works. LaTeX describes itself as a document preparation. Instead of doing all the word processing yourself, instead of saying, right, heading, I want this font, I want this size, I want this in bold, by sort of doing clicking and moving about, or doing pictures and moving them by moving them about and dragging and dropping, you just write and you use commands in a way that's not completely dissimilar to programming to make your document format in the way it wants. So if you want something to be as a title, you do /title and then bracket your text in, and that will make that bit of text as a title. So you can then do sort of -section, -subsection and keep going down. And what this does is it gives you some advantages for formatting documents in a good scientific standard. The way that LaTeX sort of encourages this is it says, okay, because you can do that, you can get on with writing, really. You can get on with writing and leave the design of how things look to a few commands at the start. So you could say one of the ones that's really common is /document class. So if you have like document class book, it will put in a series of sort of stylistic choices based just on that thing, and you won't have to spend as much time sort of setting up, okay, what font do I want the title, how big do I want the subheadings to look relative to the title and all that stuff. No. Do it as a document. Also has the similar sort of being able to use commands like this means it's really good for having a bibliography and doing references conveniently and not getting references wrong, not getting numbers mixed up. Also, another thing is you can command very particularly where you want images, which, I mean, if you've done word processing, you'll know that this is one of the major frustrations of it, right? You put an image somewhere and then you try and move it a bit and then all the text jumps or another image disappears off to another page and everything's moving around. No. You can do, okay, I'm going to have this image here between these two blocks of text. So that's what it is and why you might want to use it. Now, for a degree in itself, this is not necessarily needed. Word processors have came a long way in sort of the last few decades, and you can do decently typeset Word documents. You can do a decent bibliography. You can put in like table of contents, all that sort of thing. You can do equations actually fairly well in word processors. Now, in a way which perhaps wasn't anywhere near as good, a few decades ago. So you can get through an entire physics degree without bothering with this. If you are going on into research, if you're thinking of going on into research, LaTeX is used a lot for scientific articles. The place where you want to publish will probably have a LaTeX template for their article, for what they want to do, for how they want your report to look, which will make it very useful if you can do this. Similarly, there's a good chance that if you're doing a PhD thesis, there will be some sort of standard setup for a LaTeX thesis which will comply with your university's guidelines. So that makes it very useful in scientific publishing. As for whether I would consider learning it, as I say, if you're going into research later on, or if you're thinking about it, yeah, learn it. Start using it fairly soon, because you will probably need it at some point. If you're not, if you're just doing a degree and then moving straight on, then you don't need to. But remember that this is not something you're going to do just because you're lazy. If you are going to say, no, I'm just doing my degree, I'm just going to rely on word processing, you're going to have to put in a fair bit of time learning how to make word processors do something in a good scientific style. You're going to have, unless you want to spend hours and hours trying to mess about with references, you're going to have to learn how to do a proper bibliography on a word processor. You're going to learn how to set up the document so that it is in a standard that your university will accept for, say, a dissertation, a master's project, a lab report, that sort of thing. So if you're just doing the degree and then leaving, whether or not you learn it is up to you, but don't not learn it as an excuse to be lazy. You will still have to do a bit of work knowing how to make your documents scientifically acceptable, neat, tidy, in the format that your university expects. But anyway, there you go. That's enough of my rambling on that subject. Goodbye.